only 42 days until Andor Season 2 releases on Disney+. Happy Andor Tuesday, everyone. Today, I am doing something that I wasn't expecting to do when I woke up this morning. If you remember it all from last week, we had a new trailer drop. There was the special look for Season 2 of Andor, and in it, there were a ton of things I wanted to talk about, and my plan for this week's installment of Andor Tuesday was to talk about some screenshots that I have from that special look and theorize, talk about what I think those are and what's gonna happen this season. But then 4 hours ago, the Star Wars TikTok account dropped this video, and I just have to make that. I absolutely have to make it. And I was committed to doing this completely by hand, like on my own, making my own pattern and everything, but Star Wars has made sure that I don't have to do that. On their website right now, they have a step-by-step guide on how to make your own little B2 popcorn bucket. They even have the link to where you can print it out, and then just step-by-step instructions. It's super simple, so we are going to do that right now. I have my printout here, and I think we're just gonna do it. I'm already not doing what they're telling me to do because I don't have any glue in my house, apparently. We've got tape instead. I think I can make this work with tape. Let's cut out the first piece. I have made a ton of these paper dolls in the past, and one thing that really makes or breaks this whole thing is how precise you are with cutting. I really suggest, if you're going to do this as well, take your time and make sure that you get them as straight as possible. There's no shame in being a slow cutter. Alright, 2 down. If you are also planning on doing this, on the back of Bee's body there are these 2 little flaps on the side that look a little bit like regular paper, but it looks like these are part of the paper craft, so make sure you don't cut these off. So I have a feeling these are our side seams. Let's cut these out too. At the end of this process, you should have 4 legs and 2 body pieces. So the first thing we're gonna do is gently fold everything along the dotted lines. I always suggest folding on a hard surface so that you can get a really nice crisp line. I am sitting on the ground right now and do not have that, so... We have all of these folded, and now we get to do the fun part, which is assembling. And what I'm actually going to do first is connect these bits together because it's going to take me a second to align these properly. If you are taping this, when you go to tape, to make sure that you're not seeing the tape once you're done with it, you're going to be taping sticky side up on the underside of the paper. For example, if I'm aligning these two, this is the sticky side facing towards the camera, and I'm just going to put a little bit right in the middle here. I always like to do what I call a tack when I'm taping things like this, just to make sure that I am not wasting a ton of tape and I have time to like line everything up. I just use a little bit and then I'll go back once I'm done and tape the full thing. I'd say that lined up pretty well, so now I'm going to go back with a couple more pieces of tape and just secure everything into place, making sure especially to get the top edge and the bottom edge, because if we are going to have a rupture, it's probably going to happen from there. Alright, and now we've got a B tube. I'm proud of that one. Put all the little flaps in first, and then do 2, and just give it a little bit of tape for good measure. And then we are going to do the same thing to the top. It is a little bit flappy. If you are gluing it like you're supposed to, that's not going to happen. But because, once again, I do not have access to glue, I am just going to add a little tiny piece of tape on each of the edges over here, just to make sure that our friend is not flapping out. Alright, so there is the body all done. Here is a look at the bottom and what it looks like from the inside. I know it was kind of hard to tell, but what I ended up doing once everything was connected on the 4 sides, I put all of the tiny tabs on the innermost, and then I put 2 of the big squares down, and then put the other 2 on top of them, just like folding like a Christmas package. And I just taped this flap down for good measure. Next step is to make his little feet. And this is going to be mostly the same process. We have all these gray tabs. This is just going to kind of fold in on itself and create a box. What I'm going to do is take little itty bitty pieces and again put them on the backs of the tabs, and then one by one I'm just going to tape them like that, making sure that everything is lined up on the dotted line so we're not seeing any of that gray poke out. If there's a little bit of gapping, that's okay. We have to remember this is made of paper at the end of the day, so there's only so close we can get this. And now we have all of the legs. We are now going to put them on B. So what is going to happen here on his left side? You're going to do the yellow one on the back and then one of these on the front. And then you're just going to attach it so that everything is laying on the ground. I suggest gluing these together and then putting glue all along the side and making sure they're really attached. Because I'm taping, we are going to do basically the same thing but a little bit differently. I'm going to again take a little tiny piece of tape and just a couple times I'm going to make little rolls and put them on the back of these. I think the secret to success when you're making these little tape rolls is that you want to do a lot of small ones as opposed to one or two really big ones. Right now I'm only going to do two and I think that's going to do it. And I'm going to line up the bottoms to make sure that they're flat and then just make them kiss. It says in the instructions that it goes on his back left side. So it's actually the left as you're looking at it. We're just going to put a little bit of piece of tape right there to make sure they're secure. And then I'm going to use two more little tape rolls on each side of this, so 4 total, to connect everything. So here are my 4 rolls, and I'm going to attach it to his body. I'm just going to put my hand in here for some extra support, and then make sure that the bottom is lined up and it looks about even on either side. And then just kind of smash it down on the inside so that I'm not breaking this guy. Stop! One side down, let's do the other side. Gonna do the same exact thing. Put 1 or 2 rolls on the backs, and these don't matter which side because they're the same either way. Line up the bottoms and smush them together. Then I'm going to glue this, or tape the side that is going to be touching B's body. Smush it together a little bit so I know that I have a nice seal. I'm actually gonna do one on the bottom as well because these are a little bit misshapen. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I'm gonna do that to the other side too when we're done. And then we're just gonna tape him on. It's one final effort to make sure that he never falls apart. I'm going to take a piece of tape and put it where everything connects just to make extra sure that these are going to be stable because I want to keep him forever and I don't want him falling apart on me. I think that reinforcing it on the bottom like this would be nice if you're using glue as well, just to make sure that everything's nice and tight and secure. Oh, and that could not be more perfect timing. I am running out of tape. But this is the last piece. Guys, stop. I absolutely love him. I need like an army of these. Here's what it looks like from the bottom, and from the left, and from the back, right, front, and here's a good look at the inside. This was super simple to make, and I could not be more in love with him. As self-proclaimed B's #1 supporter, thank you, Star Wars, for putting this out because this is exactly what I need for the premiere. If you'd like to make this little angel for yourself, I will put a link to it in the comments, or you can just go to the Star Wars official's website. I'll also link their video down below so you can see how they made it. Don't forget to follow for more Star Wars stuff, and I will see you next Tuesday for another edition of Andor Tuesday. Bye!